you don't actually hate them. You hate the feeling they trigger in you, that tight chest, that quiet frustration, that forced smile when they succeed. That moment you scroll past their success, and suddenly your own life feels smaller. And here's the uncomfortable question. How many of your own blessings have you stopped noticing because you're too busy counting someone else's? Jealousy is more than a passing emotion. It's a thief. It steals your peace while the other person may not even know your name. So if you've ever felt jealous and then felt guilty for feeling jealous, listen carefully. This is not about blaming you. It's about freeing you. Jealousy rarely begins as something evil. It usually begins with comparison. You see someone with something you want: better body, more money, a happier relationship, a new car, more followers, more respect. Your mind runs a quick calculation. They're ahead, I'm behind. Then it adds a poisonous conclusion. So I'm less. Not just less successful, but somehow less valuable. That's the moment jealousy becomes dangerous. It stops being a passing feeling and becomes a mindset. You no longer simply want to grow. You quietly wish they would fall. And that turns your heart into a battlefield you can't escape. You can't relax. You can't celebrate. Even when you achieve something, you still feel restless. Because your happiness depends on someone else staying beneath you. The world around you makes this even worse. Social media is a comparison machine. It shows you highlight reels and hides the struggle behind them. You see wedding photos, but not the arguments. You see new businesses, but not the debt. You see perfect bodies, but not the injuries or discipline behind them. So you compare your ordinary days to someone else's edited moments, and suddenly it feels like you're losing a race you never even agreed to run. But the goal isn't to erase jealousy forever. That's unrealistic. The goal is to stop letting jealousy drive your life. Feel it, understand it, learn from it, then release it. Peace does not mean jealousy never appears. Peace means jealousy no longer controls your direction. To understand that, think about 5 steps that turn jealousy from poison into progress. The first step is naming the emotion hiding beneath jealousy. Jealousy is rarely just jealousy. Most of the time it's insecurity, fear, shame, loneliness, or regret. It's the pain of saying, I want that too, mixed with the fear, what if I never get it? So when jealousy appears, don't treat it like an enemy you must destroy. Treat it like a message. Ask yourself honestly, what is this feeling pointing at? Is it pointing toward a dream you secretly care about? A skill you haven't developed yet? Or a wound where you feel overlooked or left behind? When you name the real emotion, jealousy loses its power. It stops looking like a monster and becomes information. The mistake most people make is pretending jealousy isn't there. They say, I'm happy for them, while their stomach burns inside. That doesn't create peace. It splits you into 2 people, the version who smiles publicly and the version who suffers privately. Real peace begins with quiet honesty, simply admitting, I feel jealous. Why? You don't need to announce it to the world. You just need to admit it to yourself, because what you refuse to acknowledge controls you from the shadows. Think of jealousy like smoke in a room. If you ignore the smoke, the fire grows. But if you look for the source, you can find the fire and put it out. The smoke isn't the real problem. The fire is. And the fire is usually a need, the need for progress, recognition, security, or meaning. Jealousy is simply the alarm. Use it as information instead of punishment. The second step is learning to stop comparing snapshots to timelines. Most jealousy is built on incomplete information. You see the reward without the price. You see the glow without the grind. You see the applause without the sacrifice. And your mind tells a simple story. They got lucky, but you don't know their full story. You don't know what they endured. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what fears they carry, or what struggles they hide behind that smile. You're comparing your everyday reality to their best moment. Ask yourself an honest question. If you had to trade lives completely, every problem, every insecurity, every responsibility, would you still want their life? Or do you simply want the visible reward while keeping your own hidden comforts? Most of the time, the answer becomes clear. You don't want their entire life. You only want improvement in one area of your own life. And wanting improvement is healthy. The danger begins when jealousy blinds you to what you already have. Comparison is like judging. Two books by reading one page from each, you read their best page while reading your hardest page and decide. Their entire book is better, but life isn't written in single pages. Both stories are much longer than the moment you're comparing. The third step is converting jealousy into direction. Every time jealousy appears, you face two choices. You can let it rot into bitterness, or you can transform it into ambition. Bitterness whispers, they don't deserve it. Ambition says, I want to build something like that too. Bitterness tears others down in your mind, but leaves your life unchanged. Ambition quietly builds something real. Here's a practical exercise. When jealousy appears, write down the exact thing you envy in one sentence. Maybe it's someone's business success, confidence, relationship, or lifestyle. Then ask one practical question. What is one small action I can take this week to move in that direction? It's just one step, not a complete life transformation. That shift turns jealousy from poison into fuel, because the pain becomes productive. Often jealousy reveals what matters most to you. If you didn't care about something, it wouldn't hurt to see someone else have it. So instead of hating yourself for feeling jealous, learn from the signal. Your heart is pointing towards something it values. The problem isn't desire. The problem is when desire becomes resentment. The fourth step is practicing gratitude with proof. People say, be grateful. Say if gratitude were a switch you can flip, but gratitude is a skill, and skills must be practiced. One effective way to build it is turning gratitude into evidence instead of vague feelings. Each night, write down 3 small proofs of blessing. Not dramatic achievements. Simple evidence. Maybe you had food today. Maybe someone checked on you. Maybe your body carried you through the day. Maybe you learned something useful or experienced a moment of calm. When you collect small evidence daily, gratitude becomes real. Jealousy grows. When your mind forgets what it already has, gratitude grows. When your mind notices what is already present, another misconception is that gratitude kills ambition. It doesn't. Gratitude removes desperation. It removes the constant panic of feeling behind. You can still pursue goals, but you pursue them from peace instead of anxiety. The 5th step may sound simple, but it's powerful. Bless what you envy. When jealousy appears, quietly wish good for the person you envy. Say something small in your mind. May their success remain good. May their life stay protected. Your ego will resist. It will argue they don't deserve kindness. But when you bless them, instead of resenting them, you break jealousy's grip on your heart. Jealousy is heavy. It feels like carrying stones inside your chest. Blessing someone slowly removes those stones. Now let's see this idea through a short story. 2 friends grew up together in the same neighborhood. Their names were Adil and Noman. They shared childhood snacks, jokes, and dreams. But as life moved forward, their paths began separating. Noman found success earlier. He got a good job, dressed better, and upgraded from a bike to a car. People who once ignored him began greeting him with respect. At first, Adil felt genuinely happy for him. He clapped for his friend and proudly said, Mashallah. But slowly something shifted. Jealousy crept in quietly. It didn't appear as hatred. It appeared as questions. Why him? Why not me? We started together. Soon those questions became comparisons. Adil began feeling embarrassed about his own progress. When family members mentioned Noman's achievements, a sharp feeling hit his chest. When Noman posted pictures online, new shoes, a new office, a trip, Adil quickly scrolled past as if the screen burned. Eventually, the jealousy leaked through jokes. Big man now, don't forget us. The words sounded playful, but something inside them was sharp. Noman laughed. But sometimes his eyes carried quiet sadness. One evening, Adil's mother asked him to visit someone with her. He didn't want to go. Lately, he avoided visiting people because seeing other lives reminded him of what he lacked. But his mother insisted. They walked through a narrow street and stopped at a small house. Inside, the air felt heavy. An elderly man lay weakly on a bed, while medical bills sat scattered across a table. A woman opened the door and greeted them with relief. Adil watched as his mother handed the woman an envelope. "This is from Noman," she said. Adil froze. From Noman. His mother explained that the old man had once helped Noman's family during difficult times when Noman was a child. He had quietly provided groceries and helped pay rent. Noman had never forgotten that kindness. The old man slowly opened his eyes and whispered, "Tell Noman I'm proud of him. Tell him I'm happy he became a good man." In that moment, something shifted inside Adil. Until then, he had seen Noman's success as money, status, and luck. But in that quiet room, he saw another kind of wealth: gratitude, loyalty, and character. He saw someone using success not only to rise, but to lift others. On the walk home, Adil's mother said softly, "Some people become successful and their hearts shrink. Others become successful and their hearts grow. Be careful what you envy." That night, Adil couldn't sleep. He realized he hadn't only envied Noman's money. He had envied his peace, respect, and gratitude. The next morning, Adil called Noman. He spoke honestly and admitted he had been struggling with jealousy. Noman listened quietly and replied, "I knew something was wrong. I never hated you for it. I just didn't know how to reach you." Adil asked how he stayed humble despite success. Noman answered, "Because I remember what life was like before, and because my mother taught me that when God gives you more, it isn't only a reward. It's also a test. And the easiest way to fail the test is to forget gratitude." That conversation changed Adil. He stopped feeding jealousy and began using it as direction. Instead of competing with Noman, he focused on becoming better than yesterday. Slowly, he realized something important. Someone else's success doesn't block your path. Jealousy does, because it turns your energy into resentment instead of progress. When jealousy fades, you become emotionally wealthy. You celebrate others without pain inside. Your mind becomes calmer. Your focus becomes stronger. And one day, someone will succeed in front of you. And instead of feeling threatened, you will smile sincerely, not because you're pretending, but because you trust your own journey. That is freedom. The final truth is simple. Jealousy is like drinking poison and hoping someone else gets sick. Gratitude is the opposite. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The darkness doesn't argue, it simply disappears. So ask yourself one honest question. What if the things you envy in others are simply signs of what you are meant to grow into without needing to hate them for getting there first? Choose growth. Choose gratitude. Choose peace.